there is an energy in this room. We have the opportunity to speak at a lot of industry events, a lot of guilds, a lot on the beer side, wine side, spirit side, and then individually with distributors and retailers as well. The energy in the room last night is some of the highest that we have in the industry. Sure, I'm going to go through a lot of headlines, and we're going to be talking about exactly where the state of the industry is as far as total alcohol, spirits, and more importantly, the entire beverage world. But we need that energy to keep things going. The highlights, or some people will call them the lowlights, they don't look good on the screen. But there's an energy, there's innovation, there's power in this room that we all need to take advantage of. And I'm excited to be a part of it. And thank you for having me here. Bump Williams Consulting, most people know us on the beer side. We've been doing this. We have over 100 years of experience as far as our team. We work not only across the 3 tiers, but we break this industry down into 10 different tiers that we work with. So everything from industry data, which you're going to see quite a bit of today, to consumer data, to working straight with retailers, to distributors, to VIP, Karma, Encompass, all the things that track data. And then we also have relationships on the mergers and acquisitions side, and then as well as kind of on the Wall Street and the industry side. So that's enough about us. Let's talk about the industry and what's going on. There is high-end momentum in the industry. You do have to look for it, but if you look at every pocket of this industry, there is momentum, and it is leaning a little bit more towards the high end. Flavored alcohol, we cannot ignore that. That is where the consumer is. They are craving flavor. When they are in the alcohol side, that's where they're going. But there's also still some traditional elements that are seeing success in here. There is volatility. Volatility creates opportunity for people in this room. Small, local, regional, statewide. That's where the opportunity is. Big shakeups, big numbers on the decline at the high end of what we do in this industry creates opportunity for those of us. I started in craft beer 26 years ago, had a 17-year career with a little brewery called New Belgium, helped to take them nationwide. That's where the opportunity is today as far as rising brands and volatility at the top with people like that. New to world is overall outperforming those that are kind of crossing over as well. There is pressure, without a doubt, and everybody is here to learn and to be motivated and to take what they learn from the experience in this room and at each one of these sessions back into their market, their local tap room, their local distilleries more specifically. There's pressure. You do have to know what's going on in this world. Part of that pressure comes from the consumer. It's not just a threat, there's a reality of decreasing consumption. I'm going to show you numbers on this that aren't good, but again, take a look at the opportunity and look into the pockets. Occasions, modern consumer not only drinking less, but less occasions to go out and participate and partake. There's more opportunity and more choices than ever. We look up here, we see non-alcoholics, that's the NA up there, energy, hydration. I'm going to show you exactly what impact that is having on our industry, but also what we can learn from them. And then we can't ignore also recreation. As far as cannabis, Delta-9, THC, big fight for that here in the state, going back and forth, as well as across the country. It has absolutely changed the landscape of our industry. It is very reflective of the consumer that we have today. You throw in online gambling, and that's another competitive set as well. So in order to succeed, you must be well-positioned, you have to be available, and you have to be visible. And that's what we help people do, is to make sure that you're able to succeed in this environment by knowing the data and then being able to move forward and make yourself more available, more visible. All right, consumer behavior. Let's talk the reality. They are decreasing their consumption. This is from a survey that we did at the beginning of this year. Over the 12 months, simple question, my alcohol consumption has decreased 27%, stayed the same 57%. 84% stayed the same or decreased from last year. Not the friendliest environment for us to compete. Only 16% have increased. Let's take a look at the reality. When people do go out, and this isn't just bars and restaurants, this is distilleries, this is tap rooms across the board. How has your consumption habit changed? Decreased by 44%. Reality. So we need to get better. We know that consumers, there aren't as many of them. They're not coming in as frequently. We need to meet them when they are there so we can help to increase it. Their drinks per visit, some bright lining in there, stayed the same, about 63%. So we still are having success in capturing more, just about the same amount of drinks when people are coming in. Big headlines. Anybody see the Gallup poll? Made national news, a lot of it. 1, 2, 3 punch is what we call it. Self-reported drinking down 54% from a high of 61, 67% just a few years ago. On top of that, how many people believe that it's bad for health reasons? New high of 53%, drastic uptake. So this is what we're fighting. This is the environment that we're in. This is what we're doing. Number of drinks consumed, down 4 to 2.8, matches the lowest. So again, not here to be depressing. This is just the reality. This is what we're fighting every day, and it's important for us to know these numbers. And then as you can see, that's shown up there. Let's talk about THC. A lot of debate. I'm here to tell you from our research and from what we see at NIQ, does it steal occasions from total beverage alcohol? Absolutely it does. Number of cannabis consumers self-reporting up to 30% as far as total U.S. population, up to that 78 million. Here's where it gets into it. Combine that with the last slide as far as the Gallup poll, healthier option than alcohol. Could be some miseducation, could be some perception, but again, this is what we're fighting. And then I've cut back on alcohol in favor of cannabis, 78%. So it absolutely is stealing occasions. And then we're going to go into some data. You're going to see where that's having its biggest effect. But you're also going to see some opportunity as far as capturing those consumers that are in beverage alcohol, that still do participate multiple occasions. Where are they? I know people like data. I know we've seen a couple of slides earlier today. The cameras already come out. Please take pictures. Come up to me afterwards. We want to talk this through. As far as understanding the consumer and what's going on, we need to talk about total beverage, not just wine, beer, spirits. We're talking about total beverage across the board. Spirits, 6th largest category, 5.8%. Beer is still number 1. Wine currently is right there just ahead of it. That's great. Let's take a look at what the share is. What's happened just in year to date for this year. Total beer, down almost a percentage point. Not good news on that side. 9,500 plus craft breweries, a lot of multinational companies that are seeing this major effect. For me, that creates opportunity for other beverage categories. So these are the ones that are down or declining. Spirits, absolutely holding its own, and there is some excitement in there that are driving these numbers that we're going to talk about. What do you see on here as far as winners within total beverage? And it's substantial. Soft drinks, energy beverages. Just this year alone, 0.6 of a point on the soft drink side. Energy beverages, 1.0. What do they have that a lot of other categories don't? Where the consumer is? Flavor. That's where they're going. Also, better for you. Some perception that's going on as far as their product attributes. So that's where the consumer is. That's just this year. What happened last year, you see that trend isn't just a this year trend. We've been talking about it like this is new. Happened in 2024, happened in 2023. So consistent losses across on the beer and the wine side. Spirits, again, holding its own in there. Soft drinks and energy beverages are the big winners in this. So that speaks to where the consumer is. They're looking for those categories. What can they get out of those categories? They get innovation. They get branding. They get some local connectivity. They get better for you. They get health and wellness out of that. There are some elements in there that we can absolutely compete on. Let's see where it's going. That's what we're going to do today is break this down. Sure, total beverage alcohol down. We know that. Let's take a look at it and break that out into 2 different areas. Traditional alcohol. That's where most of the declines are happening. It's a different story as far as flavored alcohol. And you can read this as flavors like we know as far as fruits and kind of the additives, but you can also read it as innovation that's going on. And then if we break this down across the board, what's happening? Traditional beer, you think that flavors across the board are winning? Beer is losing consumers, and they're absolutely losing consumers to the spirit side of the game. A little bit to the wine, but that's a different story that we have going on in there. But flavored beer is actually down more than traditional beer is across the board. And I know we hear about the headlines, it's, oh, traditional beer or all beer is dead. Flavored beer is down in that. That is not the story as far as spirits. Traditional spirits down 2%. Flavored spirits of any kind, up 16%, so growth. And I'm not telling everybody that you have to go out and chase a bunch of flavors, but where the growth is and a means to get in, this is where it's going. And then traditional wine and flavored wine, biggest driver on that flavored wine are the orange-based alternatives as far as talking about beatbox, which offer a lot of flavor and a lot of value for the consumer. So that's where we're going there. So success is not universal in flavor, but changing face of what's going on with flavor within each one of these segments, less and less on the beer side. You see overall, as far as percentage of the total consumption at 13.3 for all beverages. Look at what's gone on the spirit side. Sure, we talk flavor is increasing, it's increasing. But since 2021, the percentage of flavor as far as dollars in spirits has gone from 4.7% to 11%. That means opportunity. That means innovation is available if you want to meet where those consumers are. And then wine, we just talked about where that is on there. So what does it look? Let's talk about winners. Who is winning in this environment? RTD, ready to drink. Talking anything, cocktails in a can. We call those in-hand occasions. As far as what retailers are looking at and what's driving the growth, RTDs is absolutely the story. Good and bad, taking some shelf space away, maybe sacrificing a little bit of the traditional spirit side, but it does bring excitement into the category. This category has to evolve, and RTD is a part of it. Another positive on there, tequila. Talked about agave-based spirits, Soto. Like, there's a lot of opportunity in that space driven by that. We have changing dynamics and demographics here in the United States as well, which is a big driver of that. So we talk about meeting the consumer and their occasions. Tequila happens to be one of the avenues that is doing that. And then we start to talk about other things that I mentioned earlier as far as where the consumer is. Ultra and Ultra Zero, non-alcoholic beer, non-alcoholic spirits. I'm going to show you a couple of stats on that here in a second as well. These are sources of growth in the industry. So a lot of times we talk about all the negatives and we say, here's where it is. We don't talk about the positives. And I hope that we are able to point out a few of those today. Eye chart for the day. There's a lot going on here. I know it. I'm just going to point out a little bit. It's important that you look at things during different periods and times. And we're going to break the spirits industry down into the different subcategories and segments of it. So spirits, sure. Call it slightly flat. Last 4 weeks, not a great time period in there. Where you start to break it down, whiskey, the number one category, vodka, tequila, prepared cocktails, what's going on there? Whiskey, not doing great overall. And I'm going to show you a very specific slide on whiskey, and you can see where those negatives are coming from. There's some very big brands that are driving that down. That is not the case for local, regional, and craft distilling across the board. So just don't be fooled by what you see as far as total U.S. Winners, tequila, prepared cocktails, 4.8, 16.7%. That's year to date. There's growth. There's momentum. There are things going on. And then we look down here as far as non-alcoholic, still a small part of this industry. Growth numbers are up there, but very much in line with the consumer, moderation, abstaining from beer, from all alcohol as well. And there is absolutely a movement going on in non-alc spirits. It's going across as far as non-alc wine and non-alc beer as well, but definitely an area of opportunity. And again, just breaking this down, let's take a look at it. We see that it's declining. A lot of people look as far as the percentages and say, okay, that's not that bad, or it's not, or you're not telling the whole story. Here's what it means on a total U.S. level as far as prepared cocktails. Not just up 16%, $268 million. When retailers are making decisions, they're making it off of dollar gains, not just off of percentage gains. So these are the areas that are connecting with consumers and driving growth. It's not just a total spirits. There are massive areas of opportunity and growth that are going on within the spirits category. And then there's the flip side. As far as rum, vodka, cognac, and whiskey showing declines, a lot of those have some very big name brands as far as national and international. That provides opportunity for us in this room to take advantage of. And then we look at share. Great. Continue to break this down. Whiskey is number one. It's losing some share. Vodka is losing share as well. tequila prepared cocktails. That's where the share is going. So as far as the occasions that people are, where are they spending their money? Who's winning? Who's losing? This is what we have going on as far as tequila prepared cocktails, cordials, liqueurs, flavor, showing it in there. So let's get a little bit more specific. Let's keep score. This is at a total U.S. level. We can do it by state, and I highly encourage you, use this as an example when you're doing your own research and you want to ask questions. Apply this to your own state, to your own region, to your own backyard. And let's see, top 15. What do we see on this? Number 1, as far as growing, tequila, Don Julio. And then we go down from there. There's only a few of them that are represented as new. We talk new and innovation is what's driving this industry. Overall, it's not, but there are different categories that we're going to look at as far as what's driving. Let's look at the opposite side. Who's bleeding the most? Who has the most declines in there? Some pretty big brands. When I look at this, I see opportunity on the shelf. Maybe I'm trying to sell into a local retailer. I can look at, I'm not saying kick these guys off the shelf, but maybe they're over-indexed as far as their portfolio, their shelf presence, their number of SKUs that they have in there. Maybe you have a story that fits more in line with the consumer. These are the opportunities, and this is just the top 15. Again, apply this nationally, apply this to what you're doing on that local level, and then that's how you start to build your story. So we see that 9 of the top 15 brands as far as growth are on the RTD side, but traditional is a sneaky source of growth in there, including the number 1. And then, like I said just a second ago, retail shelf space can be looking at that red side and applying that to what your opportunities are and how you might be a better fit. So that's great. Total spirits, big, massive world. 2 biggest categories. Let's take a look at whiskey. What do we notice on here? Fair mix of traditional, a lot of innovation, and we know whiskey takes a long time. So this isn't something that you flip a switch on. We're talking 3, 4, 7, 8 years down the road. But these are things that you can apply right now as far as when you are looking for opportunities within the whiskey category. Who's succeeding? Who's falling back? Some very big names as far as there. And flavor is not just a universal answer to say, I do flavor, I'm going to succeed. Once you get in the flavor game, you're talking about a rotation game as well. So know that that's what's coming with the territory, and that's what we advise people on. Different segments and how to go in and look. So losing share in spirits, yes. Some massive gainers in there. 8 of the top 15 brands are new, and you may not call them new, but it's some sort of innovation that's in there. Traditional offerings, still a source of growth, and only 1 of the top 15 is flavor within whiskey. So for purists, some hope in there as far as, hey, I can still win in a category that is declining, and you can have more relevance. Again, this is top 15 in the total U.S. Apply this to a local or regional where you do have more connection with that consumer, with the retailer, with your distributor. That's where the opportunity is. Let's look at vodka. I mentioned Tito's here in state, still chugging along, absolutely fantastic growth. Very simple business model as far as what they do, represent everybody well. They get people into the category. And then you start to look at what's going on as far as declining. Some very big names as far as decliners in there. And then a category, or what I haven't pointed out yet is when we're looking at weighted distribution, consider it 0 to 100 as far as the amount of opportunity and distribution you have on the shelf. These guys at the bottom, very small, but showing up on a top 15 list in the U.S. for growth drivers within the vodka category, which we know is one of the most competitive categories in the world. So to me, that speaks to opportunity at a local level for brands to grow, to maintain relevance with retailers. And you see 4 of them that are down less than 10% distribution in total U.S., but a top 15 number in there. So that's what we're looking at. And everybody thinks vodka, it's all about flavors. Only 2 of the vodka growers are new, and only 3 of those actually have flavor within them. So enough with the numbers. Let's turn this into some action, turn this into a little bit of conversation. Our advice, focus points, keys to success. Own your backyard. You have a unique story. Even if there's 15 distilleries in your own backyard, you have a unique story against those other 14. But own the territory. Be the one that connects the most with the consumers, your distributors and your retailers. Own your own tap room. Like, that's what you have that you can control, continue to build it. And there are a lot of success stories here in this room. Know your home, or do your homework. Know the data. I'm not saying you have to go out buy $10,000 worth of data, but know what's going on. Have discussions with your distributor, with your competitors, with the guilds in your backyard to know what's going on and where those areas of opportunities are and how your retailers are making decisions. We talk a lot about alignment. All this means nothing. If you're not aligned with what the retailer wants, with what the consumer wants, with what your distributor wants and how they're making decisions, then you are just running a solitary business, and you can count on your tap room and your distilleries and all of that. But you need to know exactly how your consumers are making decisions and how your retailers are making decisions, as well as the distributors, to be able to move forward. Pockets of opportunity, not doing everything all at once. Is my opportunity local, regional? What's an opportunity within a category? What's my opportunity within innovation? Is there a pricing opportunity? We haven't even talked about price on there. Is it non-alc? Is it specialty? Is it emerging? But know your opportunity. Use all of this to build your story. You need a unique selling proposition that is true to you and working within who you are, within your identity. So make sure you do that. And above all, in these times, be patient. We're already in this industry. We know it's patience. It has to be involved. It's a significant investment. It is a long-term game. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be stumbles. But if you know where the opportunity is and you use that in your long-term relationships, you can still build a successful model. And that's what makes me most excited about the distilling industry, is seeing we can learn from other industries that have come and other segments before and apply that to something where the consumer is going and still use that creativity and the innovation to the maximum effect. So I appreciate your time. I saw a lot of pictures being taken. If you guys have any questions, I'll definitely be here. But thank you for the opportunity again, and have a great conference. Thank you.